We have the first man on the moon. Everybody knows who that was, Neil Armstrong. But who remembers who the second man on the moon was? I'm giving you a few minutes to think that one over. Actually, seconds. And it was Buzz Aldrin. And here comes a trick question. Who was the man who remained in the orbiter who went around the moon? How many remember him? The third astronaut. Michael Collins. And now the big question for the real fans of space. How many people have walked on the moon? Now, you all think it over. How many people in all of history have walked on the moon? And the answer is 12. And today we have the International Space Station, which has quite a few astronauts. Now, the International Space Station is always inhabited by astronauts from many different countries. We have, of course, our astronauts, the Americans. That's why they're called astronauts. The Russians have the cosmonauts, which are on board. And all the astronauts who do these school contacts, they also are radio amateurs. Incidentally, you might not know this, but Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space, also was a hand radio operator, which is something I found out not so long ago. Now, we have about 16 minutes to go, and I can tell you one more thing. The very first Earth-to-space contact, which was made by a ham radio operator, was made by Dr. Owen Garius in 1983, and this contact was done from the space shuttle. So this is just a little information to give you an idea of how long ham radio operators have been active, and also the events that have happened around the world or in time when it comes to the exploration of space, which, as you probably have figured out by now, I'm a real big fan of. All right, we have about 15 minutes to go. I think that just to be on the safe side, I'm going to head it back to you, Lisa or Chris, and you can do the presentation and take your time. So go ahead.
I'm back, Esco.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay, we're back here at Buffalo State College. Again, my name is Kevin Williams. I'm the director of the Roy Ferguson Planetarium here at Buffalo State, and I'd like to welcome to the podium Dr. Catherine Conway Turner, the president of Buffalo State College.
Good morning. It's really a very special day today, and it's such an exciting day, isn't it, children? Absolutely. Well, I'm a bit like you, I hope, and that is that I'm really excited about science, and I hope that you're really excited about science. And I'm also really excited about the aspect of space. I mean, it's the final frontier, right? Really exciting. So as a child, I certainly thought a lot about science. I actually thought that wouldn't it be wonderful to be an astronaut and leave the Earth's boundaries and go up into the atmosphere. So it was very exciting for me, even as a child. And so I can imagine as you're sitting out there thinking about this wonderful conversation you're going to have with someone who is really up there, that you are very much like I was years and years ago. So it's really exciting to be able to be working with folks to have this happen for you today. Now, as you know, that whenever you have an exciting event, there's a lot of people that are involved that really make it happen. And I just want to mention and thank a few people for coming together to create this opportunity for students to talk to an astronaut. I want to first and foremost thank Kevin Williams, the director of the planetarium here at Buffalo State College. It certainly is one of the things that I know really excites Kevin, and he's been talking about this very day coming, and so I really want to thank him. I also want to thank the students out there, all of you from the Harvey Austin School of TS 97 for coming to Buffalo State. Buffalo State is a college that we do lots of things here, and we prepare students for lots of different fields, but no more important than science. And so I'm hoping that one of these days, a few years from now, we'll see you come to Buffalo State as a science student. And maybe you'll decide to study biology, and maybe you'll decide to study physics or math or any of the many areas. But you'll realize that it takes a whole variety of sciences coming together to make something exciting in the space program. And so when NASA thinks about science, it's broadly conceived because it takes so many different areas to come together. So thank you, students, for being here with us today. And of course, I want to thank NASA, and I want to thank the Lancaster Amateur Radio Club, as represented by Pam Ware and others, for working with you students and preparing you. And then, of course, I want to thank your teachers who came together from PS 97, Clayton Peterson and others who prepared you to think about this wonderful day and help you to experience science and understand what this moment might be like. Additionally, I'd like to thank Lisa Nesbitt from the National Urban Alliance for Effective Education for also being a part of organizing this really special day. So it's not every day. In fact, it's quite a rarity to be able to have the opportunity that we're having at Buffalo State today to really sort of link into an experience that is so exciting, to really sort of translate our boundaries and go to a place that none of us have been before. Now, as I was telling one of my daughters that this wonderful opportunity was going to be on campus today, they reminded me that, Mom, you're way too old to be an astronaut. Forget that. That all of you are youngins, and so you certainly can continue to think about that as an opportunity to both understand and think about how you too might be. So it's really my pleasure to have everyone here at Buffalo State, to be a part of this wonderful project, and to really be a part of the ones that are going to listen into this wonderful conversation to a colleague who is listening out there and is going to beam down and talk with us through language and help us understand what it's like. So thank you so much for coming.
We have 10 minutes and 37 seconds before the station is available. We must finish before, got about 3 minutes before the official introduction. Thank you.
So, Echo, remind us how much time we have before your 7-minute time?
We have about 3 minutes to go.
Okay. I'd like to turn it back over to Lisa Nesbitt just for a brief comment before we turn it back over to you in Sweden. Go ahead.
Okay, so Esko, we've already said hi, and I wanted to say hi to Tony again. I know he's not online, and then John, and it's nice to be in Buffalo. I'm not from here. I don't sound like I'm from here. I'm from Texas, but on behalf of the National Urban Alliance for Effective Education, I'm so happy to be here. All the kids that are sitting out there in the audience right now, some of them you were my inspiration to write this grant in order to bring the ARISS project to Buffalo, and all the key players that are here, Buffalo State, Lancaster Amateur Radio Club, and the teachers that have worked so hard at Harvey Austin, just thrilled to be here. I know, Dr. Conway Turner, you've been a big part of allowing the planetarium to be instrumental in the writing of the grant, and I really want to thank you for that. And all of the media that's here, thank you for coming today and exposing the creativity, strength, and interest of the students at Harvey Austin School. Harvey Austin has 3 houses, pre-K to 3, 4 to 6, and 7 to 8, and those are grades in their houses. And their students fall in the category of 89% African American, 7% European American, and 3% multiracial, and 1% Asian. They're located just minutes from downtown. They would love to have you come see them at their school. They're doing exciting things there. I know that their mission statement encompasses science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and they want to make sure that students are prepared and successful for the future. They also instill a sense of respect and responsibility at their school, and they apply these skills not only in school but in areas like today when they're at extra events. So, of course, Dave Jordan on our ARISS team. He's our ARISS mentor. I really want to thank him and for answering so many ridiculous questions at so many different wild hours of the night. And everyone that's here today, let's just make this a successful event for the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, one more thing. We've got 30 seconds to go. What I want to make sure is that you have all your cell phones turned off, all standard cell phones turned off, not in flight mode. Make sure it's all checked. And then one more thing, no applause until the end of the contact, please. Okay, operator, Sydney, if you're online, if you can please start a recording. Thank you. All right, I will start the official introduction now. Hello, everyone. This is Eskil von Lose, SM5SRR, located in Knivsta, Sweden, and I am your moderator for today. Through the help of amateur radio volunteers, the crew on the ISS and MCI, we soon hope to establish radio contact with the International Space Station as it flies more than 200 miles above the Earth over Australia. This is all accomplished with ARISS, amateur radio on the International Space Station. The ISS is currently flying east of the French southern Antarctic land, whizzing along at nearly 17,500 miles per hour, which is 4.9 miles per second. The contact for today will be performed using the ARISS Telebridge network, a worldwide network of amateur radio ground stations that enables students to contact the ISS. The phone connection is a courtesy of MCI. The audio of today's contact will also be available live around the world via the amateur radio Echolink and IRLT networks handled by John, AG9B in Montgomery, Illinois. Thank you, John. ARISS is a consortium of volunteers from 9 nations that develop and operate the amateur radio equipment on board the International Space Station. Those that support ARISS worldwide AMSAT Amateur Radio Satellite Corporation, the Canadian Space Agency, the European Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, Roscosmos, the Russian Space Agency, and NASA. The amateur radio ground station that will establish contact with the ISS today is VK5ZAI, located in Kingston, Australia, and operated by Tony Hutchison. Thank you for helping us today, Tony.
My pleasure. Eskil?
Well, we have about 5 minutes until contact time. Our link-up today has been arranged by the National Urban Alliance for Effective Education in Syosset, New York, and will be with the students from PS97, Harvey Austin School in Buffalo, New York Public School System. Now let's check in with the students and one of the teachers there, Lisa Niesit. I hope I pronounced that right. Lisa, please tell us a little bit more about the school and the students taking part today.
Well, today there are about 32 students here. We have some students in 4th through 8th grade that may be asking questions. Hopefully we'll be able to get all the students through the line to make sure that everyone can ask their question. We also have some students that came to support their friends in this event. I have some students that are watching via live stream, and so other kids are also being able to be exposed to this event. We also have a multitude of teachers here. The weather in Buffalo is beautiful today, although we're expecting snow. It was a little bit chilly this morning when we walked out, but I think the high is going to be better than expected today. Thank you.
Great, Lisa. Thank you very much. Well, it sounds like it's like you're all geared to go there in New York. Now let's go to Tony, VK5ZAI in Australia. Tony, before the contact begins, please tell us about your station, where you are, and how you will handle the conversation today. Go ahead, Tony.
Thanks, Eskil, and very good morning to the staff and students in Buffalo. My ground station first of all consists of a Yaesu FP847 transceiver, driving a linear amplifier and feeding a 10-turn helical antenna. For receiving, I use low-noise preamplifiers that's provided at the masthead, and audio is fed both ways by a home-designed and built interface unit. Antennas are controlled by a dedicated computer, and I have a second ST736 radio for a backup and a generator system should we have a power failure. Although it would take me a couple of minutes to go out and start the generator, it's not auto start. I live in a small town called Kingston, Kingston SE actually for southeast, because in South Australia we have two Kingstons. We have Kingston on Murray, which is on the Murray River, well north of here. Kingston SE is a small rural town with a population of approximately 2,500 people, located in the southeast coast of South Australia. In the summer holiday season, its population doubles as tourists flock to the beaches for relaxing and fishing. The town serves a thriving rock lobster industry, along with sheep, cattle, deer farming, and in recent years, numerous vineyards and wineries have expanded into the area. An hour's drive east is Coonawarra, well renowned for its wines, and to the south, the picturesque city of Mount Gambier, our regional city and the second biggest city in South Australia. It's built on the side of an extinct volcano with its blue lake and forestry industry. Each in the southeast towns is generally catered for many tourists during the year that flock to the magnificent beaches and scenic coastline this part of Australia has to offer. So come and visit us sometime. We'd love to see you all. Today, at the moment it is 3:12 a.m. and we're expecting a temperature of around about 30 degrees today, and that is 30 degrees centigrade and not 30 degrees Fahrenheit. I think it's probably close to 30 degrees Fahrenheit for you guys in Buffalo. Okay, thanks, Eskel.
Thank you very much for the beautiful introduction, Tony. Well, we now have about 1 minute before the space station comes over the horizon in Kingston, Australia. Now remember, what we are doing on the ISS is an experiment, so we can never tell the results, positive or negative, until the experiment is over. And students, don't forget to say over at the end of your question. Well, in a few seconds, the station should be coming in range of Kingston. So, Tony, it's all yours, and good luck.
Thanks, Eskel. Right, I'll start calling in a few seconds. And it almost sounds like Tim is very close. So I'll call now, and as soon as we establish good contact, I will put it over to the first student. Calling NA1SS, NA1SS. This is VK5 Zulu Alpha India. Do you copy, Tim? Excellent, Tim, and very good morning. It's 3:14 in the morning here in Australia, and nice to work here again. We have students from the Buffalo district in the US, and I will put on the first student and ask them to ask the first question. First student, go ahead, please.
My name is Savannah. When did you receive your amateur radio license and from whom? Over.
My name is Tanai. What are the other space agencies that collaborate on the ISS? Over.
Kilo 5, Zulu Alpha India. This is November Alpha 1, Sierra, over.
Just stand by, Buffalo, please.
My name is
Stand by, please. NA1SS VK5 Zulu Alpha India. Do you copy? Over.
My name is How is the ISS tracked by NASA? Over.
Kilo 5, Zulu Alpha India. This is November Alpha 1, Sierra, over.
NA1SS VK5 ZAI. Do you copy? Over.
November Alpha 1, Sierra is going to try channel Charlie 2.
Calling NA1SS, NA1SS. This is VK5 Zulu Alpha India. Do you copy on channel 2? Over. Do you copy on channel 2? Over. NA1FF, VK5ZAI.
November Alpha 1 Sierra. Our backup ISS panel, Tony 2.
This is VK5ZAI. VK5 Zulu Alpha India. Do you copy Tim? Over.
I copy you loud and clear. Howdy.
Roger. No problem. Could we have the first question again from Buffalo, please? Could we have the first question, please?
My name is Giovanna. When did you receive your amateur radio license and from whom? Over.
Well, I received my amateur radio license when I was working at NASA and had first come there in about 2002. So from NASA at that time. Over.
Right.
My name is Sinai. What are the other space agencies that collaborate on the ISS? Over.
We have a very international space station here. So we have the Russian Space Agency, Japanese Space Agency, European Space Agency, and the Canadian Space Agency, all working together with NASA on board the International Space Station. Over.
My name is Keesan. How is the ISS tracked by NASA? Over.
We know NASA tracks ISS in a very similar manner as the GPS that we can use on the ground. Different sensors allow us to understand the attitude of the International Space Station as well. Over.
My name is Xavier. What types of data collection do you do on yourself while onboarding the ISS for human research? Over.
Hi, Xavier. One of our main focuses is on human research. So today, for example, I had a blood draw, but we also collect urine and saliva, and we also do ultrasounds on our muscles, on our eyes, and cardiovascular system, and we also do different kinds of scans on our eyes as well. Over.
My name is Kayvon. Where are all the people right now on the ISS from? Over.
Right now we have 6 people on board, and later tonight we'll only have 3 because one Soyuz will be leaving with a crew of 3. 2 Russians, Sergei Volkov and Misha Kononenko, and Scott Kelly for the United States. And that will leave Tim Peake from Great Britain here, and Yuri Malenchenko from Russia. Over.
My name is Taylor. What type of radio events are you involved in besides the ARISS event? Over.
We know this is actually the only kind of radio event that we do on board. Over. And we really enjoy it. Over.
My name is Shania. Do astronauts have training in diversity studies? Over.
We know our training on board is actually very diverse in itself because we travel to many different countries in order to complete our training. And so we have to know how to get along with people from various cultures and backgrounds in order to do our job. Over.
My name is Tymerion. How does the ISS avoid space debris and other natural satellites while in orbit? Over.
Well, it's a great question because we need to make sure that we stay clear of debris. And we can actually raise or lower our orbit if we find out that there is some debris that may be a danger to us. Over.
My name is Renika. What are the biomedical markers NASA researchers are looking for while in space flight? Over.
So our NASA researchers and the crew on board are very interested in what happens to our bones, our muscles, our cardiovascular system, and specifically our eyes while we're on board. And so we look at all the data that has to do with those different systems in our body. Over.
My name is Rashad. Do you share food with the other cultures aboard the ISS? If so, what type and what is your favorite? Over.
Well, we do share food from the other cultures on board. We have a lot of Russian food. We've had Japanese food on board and different kinds of European food. I think one of my favorite foods here is a Russian dish that has veal and vegetables in it. Over.
My name is Deja. What is the most difficult part and the simplest part of amateur radio operation? Over.
We know for us that because we have lots of different activities on board, we've made it so that it's actually quite simple for us to do the amateur radio operation. And so we don't find it too difficult once we understand how to set all the buttons on our radio. Over.
My name is Jada. What types of partnerships have you formed with people in other nations as a result of your NASA work? Over.
We know it's a great question because it is all about our partnerships here. And so I've spent over the last 2 years probably half my time in Russia learning how to fly the Soyuz spacecraft, but I've also spent time in Japan and Germany and Canada for my training. And so I have lots of good friends in each one of those locations. Over.
My name is Shalia. How are data transmitted from the ISS to Earth? Over.
Well, we transmit data from the ISS to Earth using antennas here that go to a various set of satellites. And those satellites transmit that information down to the ground and then to the different NASA centers. Over.
My name is Floyd. What types of activities do you do in space to keep yourself healthy? Over.
Well, it's very important for us to keep healthy while we're on board. And so we work very hard to make sure that we can stay healthy, and we exercise for about 2.5 hours a day. We try to get good sleep and good food. Over.
My name is Ryan. What type of communication challenges do you experience with the other nationalities on board the ISS? Over.
I think one of the biggest communication challenges is speaking Russian, and so we spend a lot of time before flight learning how to speak in Russian, and our Russian cosmonaut colleagues also learn how to speak English, and that helps us be very effective in our means of communication. Over.
My name is Jamar. How will you use amateur radio on this ISS and other types of activities besides this one? Over.
Well, the main use of amateur radio on the ISS is really like this, to outreach to school kids and other groups so that we can share our experience here on board. But if for some reason we lost all our communication, our standard communication on board, we can use amateur radio as a backup means of talking to the Earth. Over.
My name is Ilani. What is your opinion of the future of space exploration and collaboration with other nations? Over.
This is one of my favorite questions because I think it is so vital that when we go forward and we go beyond orbit for the moon and Mars and other destinations, that we have close collaboration with other nations. For example,
Okay. Have we, and I don't know who will get it, have another one more question.
My name is Denise. Who determines the flight path of the ISS? Over.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have lost the space station. It's gone below the horizon. Unfortunately, we've only got 17 questions through. Thank you, Eskel.
Okay, do you copy me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, congratulations to all of you students of Harvard Austin School. You did get 17 questions answered, if I did get it correctly. And ladies and gentlemen, we have just shared a moment of history. Amateur radio station VK5Z contacted astronauts Ken Copra, KE5UDN, aboard the International Space Station, who spoke with students attending PS97 Harvey Austin School in the Buffalo, New York public school system. Lisa, do you have any final comments you wish to make before we finish? Go ahead.
Yes, I do. And we need to remember that learning is never a solitary endeavor. And those are the words of Dr. Eric Cooper from the National Urban Alliance. It takes more than one of us to collectively produce children that are confident and competent by building on their strengths and interests. So thank you, Dave, for being our ARISS mentor, for Eskel for moderating, Tony for handling the transmission, John for recording. Onward.
Okay, thank you very much. And now I would like also, if we can give a big round of applause to Tony in Australia, who got up really early this morning to make the contact.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to do it, and I apologise for the small problem we had to start with, and I'll be honest, it was a problem here. It was something that I overlooked, and we went to Channel 2 but as I say, it was a problem here. We take full responsibility for it. But thank you, everyone, and it was a pleasure to do the bridge for you. Thanks, Esther.
Thank you, Tony. Well, thank you very much, and it was a real pleasure working with the school and the students. I hope you really enjoyed it. Now, for the international volunteer teams of ARISS, including the amateur radio societies around the world and NASA, this is Eskil von Lose, amateur radio operator SM5SRR in Knivsta, Sweden, sending my greetings to all of you in amateur radio terms, 73, which means best wishes.
All right. So, if anyone would like to interview the students, they're available for interviews now. I think some people have already
Operator, you can
talking to some students.
We have the first man on the moon. Everybody knows who that was, Neil Armstrong. But who remembers who the second man on the moon was? I'm giving you a few minutes to think that one over. Actually, seconds. And it was Buzz Aldrin. And here comes a trick question. Who was the man who remained in the orbiter who went around the moon? How many remember him? The third astronaut.